छोटे से दुनिया का बड़ा सा इंडिया, ये है अपॉर्चुनिटी इंडिया। चाय का प्याला हो या गपशप मिर्च मसाला हो, पैशन है, अग्रेशन है, बिन बात का पैशन है, स्टार्टअप गिरी का फितूर है, अरे तभी तो इंडिया मशहूर है। उम्मीद का सवेरा है, खुशियों का बसेरा है, सपनों का देश, अपनों का देश, यह है अपॉर्चुनिटी इंडिया। मिट्टी में जो हम सपने बोते हैं वो आसमान को छूते हैं। गुडलक की टोपी पहन के भी शीश हमारे झुक जाते हैं। यहां जीत की होती तंग गलियों में तैयारी है और कागज की कश्तियां भी करती किनारों की सवारी है। सपनों का देश, अपनों का देश, ये है अपॉर्चुनिटी इंडिया। यहां आईना है, तस्वीरें हैं, संस्कृति भी खास है। चमकते बाजारों में मुस्कुराता प्यार है। रंग बिरंगी पोशाकों में तभी तो लगते चांद चार हैं। खुशियां हैं त्योहारों की, मिलजुल की, बहारों की। सपनों का देश, अपनों का देश, ये है अपॉर्चुनिटी इंडिया। पतंगों के मेलों में कटती रंजिशों की डोर है। सैर है, सपाटे हैं, यहां टूरिस्ट बड़े आते हैं। ये मेरा है, ये तेरा है, ओशों का सवेरा है, धूप है, छांव है, उन्नति के गांव है। सपनों का देश, अपनों का देश, ये है अपॉर्चुनिटी इंडिया। पैगामों का इंडिया, हाजिर जवाबों का इंडिया, गुब्बारों में उड़ते आसमानों का इंडिया। कश्ती में सवार निकल पड़ा है इंडिया, पंख फैलाए उड़ चला है इंडिया। सपनों का देश, अपनों का देश, छोटी सी दुनिया का बड़ा सा इंडिया, यह है अपॉर्चुनिटी इंडिया।
Thank you so much, Dheeraj, for the lovely and motivational message. With the hope that everybody is doing great, safe, and healthy at their respective places, we welcome you to the 36th edition of Business Opportunity Over Chai webinar series. As we always say, Franchise India is an opportunity platform for each one of you where you can come, connect with us, and take charge of your own destiny and can select the respective brands and businesses for you. With this introduction, I welcome each one of you and our panelists. So in our panel today, we have Chairman Franchise India, Mr. Gaurav Maria, who is also an entrepreneur and author. We also welcome our MD Franchise India Brands Limited, Ms. Sonia Chaudhary. She is the director at Remax India. With this introduction, the brand of the day today is Sanitization Express, powered by UClean. And we have privilege that we have Arunabh Sinha, who is the founder of UClean, great brand with us. UClean, we started journey in January 2017, and till now, we have signed 235 franchisee as on date. With this introduction, we would like to know and hear from you, Arnab, about the entire journey you have taken as an entrepreneur. Over to you, Arnab. Thank you so much for joining in for today's session. Over to you.
Arunabh, welcome. You can start your presentation.
Thank you so much, Archana, for the very warm welcome. Thank you so much, Gaurav sir. So today I am here to talk about one special initiative of UClean, which we have very recently launched by the name of Sanitization Express. And as the name itself explains, it's a special initiative of UClean in the sanitization and disinfection space. So before starting, I just quickly wanted to share the flow of today's presentation with all. We'll start off by talking about UClean Group and the journey so far. Then we'll talk about the special initiative of Sanitization Express which we have started about a month back. Then we'll talk about what Sanitization Express is, what are the kind of services that we offer, and what are the kind of capabilities that we have developed over the last 1 month. And then finally, we'll get down to the franchise model and help you understand the kind of investment it entails and the kind of break even that you can expect. So quickly starting off with UClean, and as Archana shared, today UClean is India's largest laundry chain. We work on the franchise model. Our journey started about 3.5 years back, and over the last 3.5 years, we have managed to scale our presence to almost 52 cities of India, and also opened up our first international location in Kathmandu. Our business model has throughout been franchise-owned, franchise-operated, where we find passionate entrepreneurs, we bring them on board, we equip them, we enable them, and we handhold them while they run their own profitable UClean ventures. During the course of running UClean, what we also realized that there is also a huge opportunity that exists in the complementing space, where the same customer that is availing laundry service today, at some point in time, he also requires a carpet cleaning service, a sofa cleaning service, or a deep cleaning service. And that is when we decided to partner with an American company called ChemDry, which is the world's largest surface cleaning company. That partnership is now about to complete 1 year. They've already started franchising out ChemDry, and we have some presence right now in Delhi NCR, the east of India, and the northeast of India. The one thing that we are extremely proud about while we have been building these brands is that the customer rating, and if you look at it today, we enjoy a customer rating of 4.5 on Google, which is far above the industry standards. So typically, if you go to Google or to Facebook, you would see that the customer rating has for laundry brands is around 3.5. We have been able to keep it consistently at 4.5 and above, and a lot of credit to our franchise partners. And which is where another important aspect comes into play, that today we almost have 20% of our franchisees who have gone on to invest in more than 1 unit. So they start off with 1 unit, they like what they see, they like the numbers, they start enjoying the returns, they start enjoying the business, and they go on to invest in more than 1 unit. So this is just before I delve into what Sanitization Express is all about, I very quickly wanted to capture what is happening in India and why sanitization and disinfection are becoming more important than ever. So I'm pretty sure all of us are tracking the numbers, and we can clearly see that so far as India is concerned, the number of people getting infected with COVID-19 is increasing almost on a daily basis. The fatality rate, while it continues to hover around 2.5 to 3%, but because of the increasing numbers, the number of fatalities are also increasing. WHO, CDC, ICMR have been constantly talking about innovations, constantly talking about the vaccines that are being developed. But one thing that is very loud and clear is that once the vaccine is developed, or once the vaccine has been mass produced, it would take about 3 to 6 months for the vaccines to bring down the total number of COVID-19 incidences to almost 50% of where they are today. But it is very difficult for anyone to predict when the number of cases will fall down to zero. So COVID-19 is something which is now a part of our life, and something which we need to accept and start living with. And that is where sanitization and disinfection become very important, alongside other measures like maintaining social distancing, masks and gloves, sanitizers, contactless deliveries. So all these would now become a part and parcel of our lives, and sanitization and disinfection services will also become a part of our lives. So very quickly, Sanitization Express is a noble initiative that UClean has started almost a month back. And the idea was that if you follow the news, you would see that state governments and the central governments across India have been talking about the huge demand and the huge requirement for quality sanitization services in India. Unfortunately, when COVID-19 hit India, we were absolutely unprepared, and there were not enough service providers that were offering sanitization services in India. We were also reached out by multiple state governments, especially the government of Haryana, where they wanted to understand that since we are in the cleaning space, why don't we also venture into the sanitization and disinfection space? So in that sense, Sanitization and Sanitisation Express is a very special initiative from the UClean family with the target of offering quality sanitization and disinfection services to both B2B and B2C clients. So whether it is a household, whether it is a corporate office, whether it is a government office, whether it is a mall, theater, whether you're talking about a food processing plant, we are there to sanitize it and disinfect it. And this is one business that is only going to grow from here and grow pretty much exponentially. So the idea is that with UClean already backing Sanitization Express, we are in a position where we can very quickly reach out to multiple cities. We can very quickly reach out to multiple clients across India and offer them quality sanitization services. The entire business is based on the premise of, I would say, one is that there is a very comprehensive training module that we have developed. And the training is being developed in such an elaborate manner that I, sitting over here, can actually virtually train your team over a Zoom call on how to effectively sanitize any kind of a surface. The second thing, which is where we have focused a lot, is on developing the right kind of chemicals. And I will talk a little bit about the chemicals in a later slide. But what we have done is that we have partnered with one of the largest chemical manufacturing companies in the world and have developed these chemicals specially under their supervision. The third is that we have also created processes that ensure that as a customer, when you are calling us to carry out a sanitization at your home or at your office, we have all the measures in place to ensure that we are keeping you safe, and at the same time, we are also keeping our team members safe. And this is, I would say, this is what is currently happening in India right now. The problem is that unfortunately, there is a lot of Atmanirbharta that is coming around sanitization, which is a very, very dangerous precedent. So if you look at what has happened in the last 3 months, a lot of so-called sanitization experts and sanitization champions have come into the market. Your local barber is now a sanitization champion. Your local vegetable vendor is a sanitization expert. Your neighbor has all of a sudden become a sanitization expert. Unfortunately, over a longer period of time, this is going to do more damage than the kind of advantages that sanitization could have potentially brought to these premises. So the challenge there is that, one, a lot of these so-called sanitization champions do not have an understanding of the overall sanitization process. A lot of them do not understand the kind of chemicals that should be used or how to distinguish between various kinds of surfaces. They do not know how to dilute the chemicals. They do not know what is the right kind of chemical that should be applied on any given surface. They do not understand what is the right kind of dosage. So as a result of which, you all of a sudden you have an overwhelming majority of very small, what I call local mom and pop sanitization experts who lack the capability, who lack the credentials to carry out an effective sanitization job. If you're following news, you would also see that there are a lot of videos being circulated where a bike caught fire while it was in the process of being sanitized. There was a case of a Canara Bank in East India which caught fire because they were using a local sanitization champion. And these incidences are only going to increase if we continue to add more of these unqualified sanitization champions to the workforce. Unfortunately, the government is also overburdened right now managing the sanitization situation. But I foresee that within next 2 to 3 months, there would be some legislations that would start coming in where the government would want to exercise a greater control over the kind of people who are carrying out these sanitization services. So this is broadly how I define our service portfolio. Sanitization, if you look at it, the entire process of sanitization can be broadly divided into 3 parts. The first part is, and I'm talking about premise sanitization in particular. So say if I come to your home and say you have a standalone bungalow in Vasant Kunj in Delhi, I would first sanitize your outer surface, which is where your walls, your gates come into picture. So here, typically the sanitization is done through a combination of spray and stream. A lot of corporate buildings, for example, or a lot of government offices sometimes would only ask for an external sanitization and no internal sanitization. The second is when somebody wants you to come inside their house or come inside their office and sanitize the entire premise. So there you divide the surfaces into two parts. One is what is called the high touch surface, and the second is the low touch surface. So the high touch surface is the surface where you typically are touching them a lot with your hands. As an example, door handles, knobs, countertops in your home, electrical switches. So these require a very specialized form of sanitization where the chemicals have to be precisely diluted and then they have to be applied using a microfiber. I have seen a lot of sanitization players, local players in particular, who actually try to spray electrical switches, which is a very dangerous practice. Spraying an electrical switch, as you would understand, could actually lead to electrocution of the guy who is performing the sanitization service, and it also poses a health hazard to the people who are inside that particular premise. When you talk about the low-touch sanitization surfaces like carpets, rugs, tiles, and staircases, these are not so dangerous, but you still need to exercise certain precautions. The third is, again, a very risky sanitization business, which is the vehicular sanitization. And here also you have a plethora of local operators who have started coming in. And if you go to YouTube, you will see a lot of videos where you will see that a bike is all of a sudden on fire or a car is all of a sudden on fire because of sanitization. So again, here we have to ensure that the right amount of dilution and the right kind of chemicals are being used. And here I would like to point out in particular that if you look at the current sanitization service providers in India, almost 99% of them are using bleach, or what is also called sodium hypochlorite. The challenge with bleach is that it's an extremely explosive substance. It is a known carcinogenic, and on top of that, it is highly corrosive. So in case you're not spraying the right kind of diluted bleach on your utensils or on your countertop, it is actually going to erode the countertop. It is actually very harmful for the skin also. If it is not sprayed in the right quantity, it can irreversibly damage your skin. So that is why what we have done is we have consciously moved away from sodium hypochlorite, or bleach as it is called, and we have specially focused on developing chemicals that are based on aldehyde. And if you look at what is happening in Europe and US, bleach is already banned, and whatever sanitization is being used there, even in the laundry industry, it is all based on aldehyde based formula. The fourth is because of the kind of compounds that we are using and the fact that all our chemicals are FDA certified, we can also enter into high risk sanitization, which is where your ICUs, the OTs, the ambulances come into picture. And these would require you to have certain capabilities, certain credentials, and certain kind of chemicals only. We have chemicals that can actually sanitize. Our chemicals have been proven to kill coronavirus with an efficiency of almost 99.9%. So these chemicals, which have been developed in collaboration with a German company called Buzzell Rosari. Buzzell Rosari is today the largest contract manufacturing partner for both Unilever and Diversey, and they have created these special chemicals to particularly deal with the COVID-19 situation. So they're exclusively manufacturing certain chemicals under the label of UClean and Sanitisation Express, and these are the chemicals and combination of these which you would be using while you are carrying out these sanitization services. Our chemicals are all CDC certified, high-level disinfectant. These are all FDA certified chemicals. They are known to have proven bactericidal, yeasticidal, fungicidal, tuberculosidal, mycobacterial properties. They're also known to be sporicidal. So a lot of virus, if you understand the technology or if you understand the science, what a lot of viruses do, especially the COVID-19 viruses, that they come together and they create a shell of sorts. So there would be like, say, millions of viruses that are coming together on one particular surface, and they would create a shell of sorts around them, which normal sanitization chemicals cannot disinfect. These are called spores. So a lot of chemicals that are available in the market right now, they are not sporicidal. They could be virucidal, they could be fungicidal, they could be bactericidal, but very, very limited number of chemicals in the market right now are sporicidal, which is very important because COVID-19 has this tendency to start creating spores. So one of the chemicals that we are using actually has sporicidal properties and is used for spraying, especially on high touch surfaces. What we have done is, and while we are relatively new, but we have already started seeing a lot of traction. wherever our franchisees are operating. So as of today, we are the exclusive sanitizing partner for all Punjab National Bank branches in Kolkata. We are the sanitization partners for a mall of Reliance in Guwahati. So what we have done is that we have focused on 4 key aspects, which is now making Sanitization Express a preferred partner for a lot of these corporates. One is that the turnaround time is very quick. So we can actually sanitize a 500 square feet space very effectively in less than 45 minutes. Our team has been highly trained. They have been trained on the right practices. They have been trained on the right dosage. They have been trained on identifying high touch, low touch, high risk surfaces, and accordingly sanitize. The chemicals that we are using, they're all green certified. They're all biodegradable. They're all FDA certified, and they're all certified by CDC as high disinfectants. Most importantly, because this is one business there where the margins are very, very high. So we are in a position where we can also compete with the local market because of the kind of margins that we enjoy. We have the capability to sanitize everything. So whether you're talking about retail businesses, whether you're talking about schools, you're talking about institutions, offices, warehouses, processing plants, hospitals and dispensaries, malls and shopping complex. So any and every kind of premise that needs any kind of disinfection or sanitization services, we have the capability to clean and sanitize it today. Now, this is the franchise model of Sanitization Express. And upfront, I would like to say that in some ways, Sanitization Express is a very special and noble initiative from the UClean family, where the target is not to make profit. The target is not to make money. So that is why we have kept the investment on the lower side. The idea is to enhance the sanitization capabilities of India. The idea is to add more capable workforce, a workforce that is better trained, a workforce that understands sanitization better, a workforce that understands what are the right kind of chemicals and what are the right kind of dosage. So in a way, a Sanitization Express, I would also go on to say is that it is almost a not-for-profit initiative of UClean family, where we want to bring on passionate entrepreneurs who are willing to do the running around, who are willing to do the heavy lifting, who are willing to reach out to prospective clients, help them understand the benefits of sanitization, help them understand the advantages that Sanitization Express has over every other local operator that is there in the market right now, and then go on and execute these jobs to perfection. So that is why within 2.5 lakhs, you're able to go live with your Sanitization Express model. It's a very unique man and bike model where all you need is a technician. He'll have all the equipment, he will have all the chemicals inside his bag, and he can move around from one place to another, carrying out whatever sanitization job is being requested. So with an investment of 2.5 lakhs, you are in a position where you can start making about 50 to 60,000 rupees per month as profitability with a one-man workforce. So you're in a position to recover your entire investment within a period of 6 months. But what we've also done is that we understand that sanitization and disinfection is one part of the much larger surface cleaning business. So surface cleaning in that sense involves everything, including sanitization. It also involves carpet and upholstery cleaning. It also involves deep cleaning. It involves pet urine and pet odor removal. And there are a lot of surface cleaning technology and surface cleaning services that are in demand right in the market right now. And Chemdry is the global leader when it comes to these surface cleaning services. So what we have done is that if there is a passionate entrepreneur who really wants to get started, but wants to start small, he can start off with the Sanitization Express model. He can carry out the sanitization services. And at certain point in time, if he really starts enjoying this business, he starts getting a comfort level, then he would have the option to upgrade himself to a proper Chemdry franchisee. The idea is that what we are looking at is people who are really passionate, people who want to take a deep dive in the cleaning industry, who are ready to go around reaching out to prospects, reaching out to clients, having a conversation with them and converting them, and then executing them to perfection. As a brand, we are there to support you in terms of helping you pitch to these prospective clients, in terms of training, in terms of even helping you with recruit the right kind of manpower. We have focused a lot on developing very solid training programs. A lot of guidance and handholding has come to us from Chemdry US, who support our initiative to launch this Sanitization Express model before somebody can fully graduate into a Chemdry franchisee. So what we have done is that with the help of Chemdry and UClean, we have developed very comprehensive training programs which can give a customer the confidence that we know our business. We have also invested a lot of time and energy in developing the right kind of chemicals, developing the right kind of dosage. And we have worked very closely with the team of Buzil Rosari in India to find what kind of dosage would be best suited to what kind of a surface. What we need from you as a franchisee is to have a dedicated team member that you can closely monitor, that you can closely work with. And at the same time, we would expect that somebody joining Sanitization Express would be willing to do the heavy lifting of lead generation. We are there to support you in terms of marketing collaterals, in terms of helping you build up proposals, in terms of getting on conference calls or video calls to convince your client about our capabilities, helping you with developing proposals. But we are really looking for people who are passionate and who want to do this seriously. So that's it from my side. Happy to take up any questions anyone has.
Thank you, Arunabh. Very, very helpful, and welcome back. We actually started with you initially last month, and we got a huge amount of response. And I understand that you already have made a couple of franchisees which are now already active and getting into business. So that's why we felt that this is the right timing for an opportunity, and we thought to bring you back on our forum after 1 month. So welcome back. And so I think in last 1 month and now listening to you, I think the kind of study I should compliment you, because a lot of players have started and a lot of our franchising also, but nobody has gone into the depth of understanding this business well. And I completely agree. This is a very specialized and personalized service, and it needs a much deeper understanding both by product, the implementation of service, and also by the training of people. And unless and until these three combination go together, the results would never come, and you can rather put facilities on risk. So first I will start with, the one of the areas which you really said, and you are the, so to say, pioneer in the overall service space, and it's looks very easy, but service needs a lot of back-end capabilities to be built. So in the interest of the, because now we will go to environments, we all have started coming out and started working out of our offices and industrial places or, other public places and so on and so forth. Is there a mechanism to build that kind of a broader trust where people can understand that they have done the sanitization right? Like, I give you example, when I go to a lift, we get this certificate on the lift. It says that this lift was verified and tested, and it has a validity that in next 6 months it is a safer place to be going. Any place which needs a lot of maintenance or entire thing normally have a certification. Do you think in sanitization also, because you were talking about introducing something like that, is there going to be something which can really certify that if this environment is now done sanitized by Sanitization Express by UClean, and it's safe to be that environment at least for the period? Is there something going on the certification or testing that the surfaces are or the places are much more safer to go?
Sure. So you're absolutely right. In fact, one of the largest budget hotel chains in India have reached out to us where they want us to sanitize and disinfect all their budget hotels, given that the budget hotels have started opening up and are running at a very low occupancy right now. So literally a customer who initially did not have too many choices today is spoiled for choice, because even a hotel chain like Sarovar Portico is today operating at price range which is very similar to what these larger budget hotel chains like Oyo and Tribo are operating at. So today a customer is spoiled for choices. He can choose between a lot of hotels. And I would say one of the single biggest determinant in deciding why I choose a hotel A over a hotel B would be the sanitization and disinfection standards that particular hotel is maintaining. So this hotel chain has reached out to us where they want us to come in and sanitize and disinfect their premises. But at the same time, they would want us to give them a certificate which says that which they would like to flaunt at their reception and they would also like to keep it in their common areas and also have it inside all their rooms, which very loudly and clearly proclaims that the entire premise has been sanitized and maintained by Sanitisation Express or by ChemDry, and which is powered by UClean. So this is something that we are seeing now happening very often. I have been reached out to preschool. I have been reached out by preschools as well. A very large chain of preschool reached out to me on LinkedIn requesting a similar certification. So that is already happening, and that is something we are in a position to give. But what we're also doing is that we are trying to tie up with large-sized organized testing organizations, which can actually validate what we are claiming. So while ChemDry has already done it, and ChemDry has proper certifications from FDA and CDC in the US, where one particular chemical of them has been certified to kill COVID-19 virus with 99.9% efficiency. And they are the only brand in a litigation-friendly country like US, which has actually gone on to claim to make such a tall claim. So ChemDry at their end, they have done a lot of developments, which we are also reproducing in India. But at our end also, we are exploring the possibility of tying up with recognized certification and testing agencies who could give us these certificates, which would then be of great value to all such institutions.
Absolutely, and I think more we are able to put these kind of certifications, more it will create confidence, especially in public places. I know a lot of people don't mind going to restaurants, don't mind going to shopping malls, don't mind going to entire thing. And if they are sure that they're going into environments which are sanitized and clean and safer to go. So I think a lot of investment should go there. And I think just by opening up businesses would not help. But I think a lot of building confidence of people to go to these environments would also create. And this would be done by a combination of service provider like you and a combination of maybe a testing body, which would come and test it, that these surfaces are well done or these environments are clean and that. Now, I'm getting a lot of questions about the UClean group, and you have actually multiple businesses. One, you have a laundromat, which is very, very successful, the largest in the country. The second, you have also another model which you run under White Tiger, which was a very successful brand in New Delhi and NCR. Then you also have ChemDry, which is the largest surface cleaning, especially carpet cleaning, and a lot of specialized services. And now you have Sanitisation Express. So a lot of people are asking, is this can be combined? And what is kind of an opportunity goes in? And if you can take maybe 1 minute each on giving a little bit of business model on each of the businesses, because a lot of people are looking at a combination of that, because they feel that in a future sense, that would make much more sense for them to be in a holistic service brand franchise where they can have multiple options and they can spread with the same consumer base. So today you are getting a house to get sanitized, but tomorrow what stops you not to clean their carpets, and what stops not to handle their laundry and things like that. So the whole wallet share spend can be used of that. So if you can just take maybe 1 minute for all our audience to give business models on everything, and then we'll come back to Sanitisation Express.
Sure. The idea always has been to become the one-stop shop for all cleaning requirements that any B2B or B2C client has. So while we started off as a pure play laundry brand, when we launched UClean in early 2017, and the focus was always on creating transparency and liveliness around the concept. So the biggest challenge when you look at the laundry industry has always been the fact that it almost 97% of it is unorganized and is controlled by the local dhobi and the mom and pop operators. The biggest challenge with their operations or with their processes that there is zero transparency. The dhobi comes to your place, picks up the clothes, takes it to his own premise, and then gives it back to you after 3 or 4 days as per his convenience. The challenge with that entire process, the biggest problem there is that there is absolutely no transparency. So as a customer, you do not have any visibility into where the clothes are getting washed, how are they getting washed, what are the kind of chemicals that is being used, what is the kind of water that is being used, and overall how your clothes are being handled. This was even about 4 months back. This was not very important, because typically dhobi had a generational affiliation to a particular family, and they would be serving generations after generations of that family. But with the current scenario where COVID-19 has impacted us in ways that we could have never imagined, all of a sudden transparency is very, very important. We are already seeing it at UClean, where we are seeing that in the last 1 month of operations, a lot of new customers have been added across our stores in India. And when we interviewed them, when we reached out to them, we understood that these were all customers that were affiliated to the local Dhobi and were enjoying the local Dhobi services because of the price points and because of the fact that they had a family relationship. But now all of a sudden their confidence has been eroded to the extent that they don't no longer trust these local Dhobis, and they want to reach out to a organized service provider like UClean. So idea has been to organize the overall cleaning industry in India. If you look at the B2C industry in particular, it is extremely unorganized. So whether we are talking about surface cleaning services, whether we are talking about laundry, whether we are talking about pest control and pest management, you would only see very local mom and pop operators that are there who do not have the capability, who do not have the equipment or chemicals, and who do not have the right kind of training to service their clients. So with this thought in mind and with this opportunity out there, we decided to first partner with ChemDry. UClean is a live laundry model where you typically have about 300 to 350 square feet area where you have the laundry machines at the store itself. You have a steam iron table, and then you offer services like wash and iron and wash and fold, which are both on a per kg basis, where the customer has the option to either walk into the store, or if he is not someone who likes coming down to the store, so from the comfort of his home, he can, through the click of a few buttons, place an order directly from the UClean app, which is available both on the iOS as well as on the Play Store. Or he can also call our IVRS-based centralized call center facility and place an order from there. So idea is that the customer decides which option does he want to exercise, and our team would be there to service him. ChemDry is a model or a brand that we partnered with very recently. And the reason behind partnering with ChemDry is because of the kind of legacy they enjoy and the fact that they were the biggest brands in the world when it comes to cleaning franchising, and the fact that everything that they have, almost all of it is patent. So today ChemDry is the only brand in the world which holds 53 patents. There is not a single brand in the world that even holds 30 patents when it comes to cleaning industry. So whatever is there in ChemDry, whether it is the equipment, whether it is the cleaning chemicals, the cleaning solutions, or even the process, a lot of it is proprietary to ChemDry and patented to ChemDry, which gives an edge to every franchisee of ChemDry that goes out and services the market. So ChemDry in that sense is a man and van model. You buy equipment, you buy the chemicals, you have a 4 or 5 member team that moves around from one place to another, carrying out whatever surface cleaning or sanitization services being requested. So this entire model can be set up in about 15 lakh worth of investment. Plus he would have to invest in one Maruti Eco Van. The biggest beauty about ChemDry business is that it does not require real estate. So your rentals are zero, your electricity bill is zero, your utilities bill are zero. You just need a team. The team moves around from one place to another, executes the service, and parks the vehicle in a safe place at the end of the day. White Tiger is an acquisition that we have done very recently, and I would say it has been a strategic acquisition in the sense that White Tiger used to be one of the largest dry cleaning chains in India for almost 20 years, and they were owned by a publicly listed company. The publicly listed company had some issues, as a result of which White Tiger was spun off, and their popularity started fading away. So we decided that because of the legacy that the brand has and the quality and the systems that they have developed over the 20 years, we believe that this is one brand that we can acquire opportunistically, strategically, and quickly expand it through the franchise model. It also allowed us to create a lower investment version of UClean. So White Tiger works on a collection center model, which is very similar to the hub and spoke model that pathological chains, diagnostic chains have, where you have smaller collection centers of about 100 square feet, which can be set up in an investment of about 5 to 6 lakh. These would be distributed across an entire city. And then you would have a centralized plant somewhere on the outskirts of the city, which will have the state-of-art modern day capabilities of dry cleaning and cleaning the clothes. And then the processing would happen at the plant, collection and delivery would happen at the collection center. And the plant and the collection center would then work on a revenue share model. So White Tiger, we have already started tasting a reasonably good success. We completed the acquisition only about 8 months back, and we have already opened about 15 franchisees across Delhi NCR. So White Tiger is the focus of White Tiger is more on premium laundry and dry cleaning, which is on a per piece basis, and we would compete with premium dry cleaning chains. UClean, on the other hand, is the more massy concept, where our focus has always been on doing laundry on the per kg basis.
Sure, very, very helpful. And I think a lot of people are interested in combination of these things. And I feel that today is the time for absolutely for UClean, because even in the laundry, people don't want to mix their clothes. They want to have their clothes being washed only by their set. And UClean gives this this opportunity that you can only just go, and the complete hygiene can be maintained. No human touch can be done, and the whole process is much more hygienic than giving to conventional dhobis and so on and so forth. And it is a great business to be scaled all over India. So going forward, first I'd like to have one question on the business model, because a lot of people are asking on a business model, what do you charge per square feet? What kind of sales cycles you can do? What kind of revenues one can expect? While it can differ, because you can have large accounts and you can have smaller accounts, and larger accounts can go in lakhs. But we would like to hear from you. That's one part of it. And second, and maybe you can even go into a little more deeper into the kind of equipment required, because somebody's asking that would I need multiple sets if you have more work to do? It would be required if you say get 6 accounts and you get 5 malls in your city which are under with you, and they all need at the same time sanitization because their opening time or a closing time or whatever that is, then would they need more equipment, and which would take their capex up? So over to you, Arunabh.
Sure. So if you look at the sanitization business, there are 2 target audience that we are looking at. One is the B2B, where all your institutions, malls, theaters, government offices, etc., come into picture. The second is your residential target audience, which is where your households, hostels, etc., come into play. Residential target audience, we are already generating a lot of demand because we have a very solid UClean network that is present across India. So at this point in time, on a daily basis, if I talk about a city like Delhi, where we have almost 43 UClean stores, I would say we are generating almost 50 leads for sanitization and disinfection, which are predominantly household focused on a daily basis. B2B, on the other hand, would be when you talk about larger premises. The rates per se are fixed basis the kind of area that is there. So if there's a much larger area, obviously the rates would go down and economies of scale would come into play. The second influencing factor on the rate is the nature of contract. So there are, I will talk about a particular example also. We are working with a very large sized 6-screen theater in Vasant Kunj right now. And we landed this contract only about 6 days back. So this is a chain of theaters, one of the largest in India. And we have been given the contract of sanitization and disinfecting of all the 6 screens that they have. The caveat there is one, because the theater would typically start running from morning till very late in the evening. So they would be able to hand over the theater to us only around 2 in the night. And then we would have to disinfect it and vacate it by 7 or 8 in the morning. So the window of opportunity or the time that we have in terms of servicing is pretty small. And they would want us to complete this entire job in a period of just 7 days. So this is where I would like to answer the second question, that there is a limitation to how much a single technician with a single set of equipment can service in a day. So if I give this as an example, it is not possible for one technician to actually disinfect and sanitize 6 theaters in a period of just 6 days. So this is where, as a franchisee, you have the liberty to add more manpower, add more equipment, add more chemicals, and not necessarily pay an additional franchise fee. There's also the possibility that 2 or 3 franchisees can come together, provided that they're in the city right now, and they can work as a team to execute this job. But there also, the nature of job would change. So there are some contracts which would be one-off. So as an example, if I talk about a household would typically call me today, and then they would call me say 3 months, 4 months later, whenever they feel that another sanitization is required. But when I talk about institutions which are now opening up, especially the educational institutions, they want us to get into an AMC. So they want to sign up an annual maintenance contract where they would want us to come in every week. So they would give us access to the premise on weekends when the students are not there. And every weekend they would want us to come in at least for the next 1 quarter. So here, obviously, because of the frequency of the job that I'm getting, the rates would go down significantly. So depending on how big the area is and how frequent the job is, the rates would come down. Typically, if I talk about a 500 square feet kind of a household space or a 1,000 square feet kind of a household space, the rate would be anywhere between 1 to 1.5 rupees per square feet. But if I talk about a mall, where I'm talking about almost a lakh worth of square feet, the rate can be as low as 40 paise to 30 paise per square feet. And I would still have enough money to make margins there. If I talk about these annual maintenance contract based jobs, so say I'm doing a preschool which has say 2,500 to 300,000 square feet area, and they are calling me every week, then even a rate like 70 paise or 80 paise per square feet, it will end up giving me a lot of profitability. So depending on the area of the premise to be sanitized, depending on the frequency of sanitization, the rates would change, the rates would vary. So you're not audible, you're unmute.
So I'd like to invite Sonia. Sonia, your remarks and your questions and overall your perspective of the opportunity, because we see this as an opportunity of current times. Over to you, Sonia.
Thank you so much, Arunabh, for coming again. I feel, looking at the quantum of questions and the number of people who have come, I feel this particular category is getting a lot of interest, so to say, and perhaps the cost at which you are giving this franchisee is more interesting. We have done some other webinars with other companies, and so we like to also understand maybe a little bit on the competition. But to start off with, I would say, cleaning as an industry has gained a lot of momentum in India recently. And also because of the pandemic, I feel the opportunity and the potential is very high. The case of sanitization economy is becoming very, very clear. Evidences are now existing where business models, technologies, and demand at initial stages, they're very, very clear as we speak. So you did talk about customer experience, which is very important in any service business, and especially in a business like yours, which requires people to come home, and these are places which are required to be safe. There's another element, Arunabh, I wanted to, I did see the kind of combination of businesses or potential markets or institutions, malls, residential you talked about. But I also feel at the same time, since there are a lot of players now coming in this category, from facility management companies to companies only specializing in a specific category. For example, TVS is coming, they're doing only vehicles. There's another company called Room, which is an online platform doing some kind of patented technology. I wanted to understand, is there something which your company would stand or specialize in? Is my first question to you. And in case not, is there I would say a 20% or a 80% rule, and say if somebody is taking the franchisee, if he only caters to this, he gets 80% of the business out of maybe his collaborations or tie-ups he reaches out to in his region.
Sure. So I think as of today, the one biggest differentiator is that we as a company are very well entrenched in the cleaning market. So we have been doing cleaning for almost the last 3.5 years. And as a result of which we have developed a very strong set of clientele that has been using us for almost the last 3.5 years through the UClean laundry services. Just to give you an example, today we are the only laundry vendor to Amazon, and Amazon runs almost 20 guest houses between 6 cities of India, and all the laundry of these guest houses, whether it is the guest laundry or whether it is the bed sheets, towels, curtains, they all without exception come to a UClean store which is located nearest to that particular guest house. So as a result of which, for us to get to extend our relationship and to extend it beyond laundry is relatively easy. In fact, we have already started doing sanitization for the Amazon guest houses as well. Likewise, there are a lot of other corporate clients with which we were either running a program where we would set up a desk inside their offices. And the best example is Tech Mahindra, where we have a UClean desk. It's a temporary desk that we access every day during the lunch hour. So for the 2 hours during lunchtime, there is a UClean desk at all Tech Mahindra offices near to their pantry, where the people have the option of bringing their clothes, dropping it off there. Our team does the laundry and then delivers it back at the desk itself, where the employee can collect it the next day. So we have done a lot of heavy lifting in the last 3 years, both with the B2B as well as with retail clients. And given the kind of frequency that laundry has, where every customer would keep coming back to us every 7 to 10 days. So as a result of which, there's a lot of confidence building that has happened with the clients who now blindly trust UClean. They are blindly trusting UClean for their laundry. So it is very easy in that sense for UClean to recommend and push another business like Sanitisation Express, where you very rightly said that they are going to invite someone into their home. Unlike a laundry business where the delivery boy would typically be restricted to the doorstep, here you're asking someone to come inside your home, enter your washroom, enter your kitchen, enter your bedroom. So a lot of retail clients would be very wary of who they are letting in. So this is where almost 99% of the competition, which is the local mom and pop competition, where your barber or your carpenter are all of a sudden claiming themselves to be sanitization experts, they get filtered out. We are talking about the 1% competition, which genuinely some of them are doing a job, especially facility management companies, which are focused a lot on developing sanitization services. So I would say that when it comes to competing with them, I would say that our chemicals or our processes or our technology or our training is at par with them. But I still feel that there is enough meat in the market out there for each one of us to grow, thrive, and continue to grow.
Hey, Arunabh, so this brings me to my second question. I think there are three big elements which become very important for any business. Customer experience, we talked about. Technology also you referred to. And third is data, which you also referred in this discussion. Based on the data currently that you have, would it be convenient for you to advise people which locations you have big demand coming in is my one question. And at the same time, I like to also understand, you talked about leads coming at the UClean outlets all across the locations, Delhi, NCR, and other locations where you currently run the centers or your outlets in. Are these being serviced at your level is my one question. Second, because you require your local partner to also bring in his own marketing capability, will he have any benefit of leads being generated? Because you have two agreements. One is non-exclusive, and if you upgrade, you become exclusive. So I want to understand how will it work for a franchisee? One is the data, as in the opportunity, if you have any assessment of how big that is. And second, on the leads being generated, and will these leads be given to a franchisee to service, or these servicing would be done exclusively by the parent, which is you?
Sure. So we are, and we have always maintained one thing very clearly, that we are in the business for our franchisees. So our business predominantly, whether you look at UClean, whether you look at ChemDry, White Tiger, and now Sanitisation Express, we do not want to compete with our franchisees. So we are spending a lot of our time, energy, and resources in building the capabilities of our franchisees, in enabling them and equipping them, and then supporting them in terms of operations, in terms of marketing and sales, and in terms of fulfillment. So with whatever lead is being generated at any store today would necessarily be fulfilled by a Sanitisation Express franchisee. Now, if I get back to the Delhi NCR example, like I said, today we are generating almost 50 leads on a per day basis between the 43 stores that we have in the region. That would give you enough insight and enough idea about how big the demand is there in the market right now. Unfortunately, we are not able to cater to more than 10% of the demand. The situation right now is that since we do not have enough number of ChemDry or Sanitisation Express franchisee in the Delhi NCR territory, we are not able to cater to almost 80% of the demand, 90% of the demand that gets generated on the per day basis. So the requirement in that sense for a Sanitization Express franchisee, or if someone is looking at the bigger opportunity, which is ChemDrive, the requirement is immediate. There's enough, I would say, enough sales that is already available with us through the existing UClean stores, which needs to be addressed, which needs to be catered to. And I can very easily extrapolate it to across cities. So whether I talk about a city like Guwahati, where we are the largest laundry chain, or if I talk about a city like Ranchi, or if I talk about a city like Bangalore, we are being reached out to by a lot of UClean franchisees who want to check if we can offer these services immediately. A lot of UClean franchisees are in fact already investing in a Sanitization Express franchisee. The model is already being rolled out in Guwahati. The model is being rolled out in a city like Ranchi. But I still feel that there is so much demand that is out there in the market. And right now I'm only talking about the organic demand, which these UClean stores are generating, that even the UClean stores, even if they decided to upgrade themselves, they would not be in a position to cater to all of it. But on top of that, I very strongly feel that if a franchise partner is able to bring some networking capabilities, some contacts with him, then he should be more or less sorted for almost the next 2 years. Because B2B is a very big opportunity that is emerging, and especially the larger chains. So if I talk about a preschool chain, or if I talk about a restaurant chain like McDonald's or Haldiram's, these would genuinely not reach out to the local operators. They would want more qualified players. They would want people who are more trained, who have the right kind of capabilities to come in and start sanitizing. So I feel for organized players like Sanitization Express, where we have focused a lot on training, chemicals, technology, there is enough B2B business also that is out there. All a franchisee needs to do is start reaching out to these institutional clients, and it would be much easier to convert them as well.
Thanks. Now I'll take another question, and I see a lot of people asking primarily on the product. Is there any kind of a swab test which is available, which really certifies and tells people the percentage of germs which were sitting on the surface pre and post the surface is one portion. And the second is, what is the life of the treatment? You know, how long does the treatment last on a surface, both external as well as internal? And what should be the ideal frequency if somebody is using as a subscriber? Is there a frequency which is required for him to ensure it is not contaminated over a period of time?
Sure. And obviously, I've also seen a lot of claims. There are a lot of Facebook brands that have come up in the last 3 months, where they are claiming that they can sanitize a premise for 3 months. They can give a sanitization guarantee for a period of 6 months or so. But truth be told, there cannot be any guarantee, because there is no way to measure the viral density or the bacterial density on a given surface. Microbes, you can still measure. There are equipments that can show you the microbial density on a given surface over a period of, say, pre and post a sanitization service. But there is no equipment right now which can accurately tell you the viral density or the bacterial density on a given surface. So we do not want to make any claims that we cannot back up. The claim that we have is that the chemicals that we have developed or that are being used in Sanitization Express or ChemDrive for that matter have the capability to remove even virus like corona with 99.9% efficiency. But the frequency of sanitization, on how long will it remain in that state, purely depends on how frequently that premise is used. So if you look at ICMR or if you look at CDC, both ICMR and CDC are very clearly telling all the malls and all the hospitals in India to ensure that sanitization and disinfection should happen after every movie show. So there's a very clear recommendation that has come from ICMR and CDC to every movie theater in India, that after every movie show, they need to make sure that the theater is being sanitized and disinfected. And that is absolutely the right thing to do, because the moment the theater gets vacated, it's not that the same audience keeps seeing all the movies. The audience also changes, new set of audience comes in, and the new set of audience could be a germ carrier. So while you might have done a great job in disinfecting and sanitizing the surface, the moment the new set of audience comes in, they also brings in with their own germs. So it is very critical to sanitize and disinfect surfaces which have a very high frequency, almost every 4 hours. But if you give an example where say you want to sanitize your home and then you tell me that you will lock the home after that and you will not use it, then we can even say that we can sanitize your home for 6 months.
Okay, great. I'll take another question which I'm seeing. What, because you mentioned you already have close some franchises and some businesses you're already doing. If you consider the revenue model on a lower side, what kind of revenue can an average franchisee make from a business model like this?
Sure. So the good thing about any sanitization or disinfection business model is that if and if he understands the correct usage of machinery and the correct dosage, then he can very successfully, very effectively sanitize a 500 square feet surface in about 45 minutes. So even if he does say, and if he's doing 500 square feet in 45 minutes, the billing amount would be anywhere between 600 to 750 INR. So even if it does say about 6 sanitization jobs in a day, which is doable, then the billing amount would be anywhere between 4 to 5,000 rupees per day. So your monthly billing would come out to around one to say, let's say 1.2 lakhs on a per month basis. Your chemical consumption is only about 10% of this. So if you're doing sales of say 1.2 lakhs, your chemical consumption would be worth about 10 to 12,000 rupees. Add another 3-4,000 rupees on the petrol cost that he would incur in moving from one place to another. Throw in another 3 to 4,000 of miscellaneous costs. So say his tire has a puncture, he has some food and all. So about 20,000 is your variable cost. The technician on an average would, if I give you the example of our existing units, the technicians are charging about 15 to 16,000 rupees per month. Throw in another 5 to 10,000 worth of incentive. You're talking about a technician who would be making about 25,000 rupees per month. So if you're doing sales of say 1 to 1.2 lakh rupees per month, all your expenses put together would be roughly about 50 to 60,000 rupees per month, and the margin is almost 50%. This is with the one.
Above, you would have to still do a cost of acquisition, which means the marketing, because marketing would be the biggest role of a franchisee, because as a service provider, the technician would go, and this would also bring control and customer relationship on. Otherwise, the technicians might start doing themselves the same work. So the two controls are very important. One, the acquisition of customer and customer relationship management, and second, the supply of chemicals and so forth.
Is there a tech piece also now which is involved where the customers can go on the app, book the services, or currently you think it should be serviced locally by the franchisees and the acquisition would also happen locally?
So we are leveraging the UClean technology. So we already have the app and the website on UClean where we have added a Sanitisation Express business as well. And it makes a lot of logical sense because UClean has a very high user database today. The number of people who are downloading or who are accessing the UClean apps or the UClean website on a daily basis is the highest in the cleaning industry, and the customer remains the same. So if I'm a laundry user, I'm also the one who is going to get my home sanitized or my home disinfected at some point in time. So that is why we have focused on the technology piece is being backed by UClean, where a customer also now has the option to book a sanitization service through the UClean app or through the UClean website.
I'm just trying to look at the questions. I feel we've kind of covered almost 80% of the questions, and some are very specific to people who are in certain businesses or businesses of automation or testing, and they would like to understand, how strategic it would be for them to perhaps take a franchisee of Sanitization Express. I feel that can be discussed one-on-one with these people, because I think we need to get more into details of their profile, location, and how strategic it can be to get into a relationship and maybe the nature of the relationship.
Yeah, and I think a lot of questions are coming which are very specific to their markets, and they want that little details on exclusivity, area comfort, what kind of work and how they can phase out their partnership. Also, maybe start with the immediate opportunity of Sanitization Express and then go to ChemDry or UClean and so on and so forth. So we will like Arunabh and your team can also get aligned with franchising their team for over next 5-6 days. If we can schedule some calls, some demos or some other information, and some markets where there is a huge demand coming in. And you mentioned there are some cities where you have a very large demand, like somebody wrote from Jaipur, and you mentioned to me that you have a very high demand coming from Jaipur. So these are areas where I think you can obviously share immediate opportunities for some of the players who can go to market very fast and acquire some business very, very fast in those markets. I still feel that a lot of questions are keep coming in, and because of the time, we would not be able to take all these questions. This is one of the busiest Q&A we have seen, and people are interacting and want to understand specific markets. Just for our audience, we are all offices are open. We are open from north and west and east and south, even markets like Coimbatore and other places. We have our direct offices and teams available. And a lot of our consultants are also available across India. We call them independent franchise consultants. They are also available. So we will also try to engage our teams at Franchiseindia to reach out to you quickly to understand your interest, and then take Arunabh's office to really coordinate and see if there is meeting of minds and the business fits with you. So before we close, Arunabh, remarks from you and from you, Sonia, a little bit on the business model and what you want to really pass to these days. And Arunabh, you can also choose to give your message on overall entrepreneurship, because you're a very successful entrepreneur. You can actually give some feedback to our audience in terms of why now is the greatest time for people to look at buying a business.
So I think I would address one question that you particularly mentioned, where a lot of people are considering whether this would be a good complement to what they are doing, or if this would be the right time to add on another business. So I feel that this is one opportunity that is very clearly cut out honestly as a side income business, because this is not the kind of business which is going to take up your entire day. All you need to do is, because in most of the cases, you would not be working yourself as a technician. So all it needs from you as an investor is to constantly monitor where your team member is going, where your technician is going. You need to be in touch with him. You need to ensure that he is delivering the minimum number of jobs that is required to deliver on a particular day. You should, on the other hand, focus more on developing your market. So doing the business development, monitoring your team member, motivating him, inspiring him, making sure that he's taken well care of, especially during these difficult times, making sure that he's well protected so that he can remain safe and he can also keep his customers safe. And you can continue to focus on whatever else you are doing. So this business in that sense does not require for you to have a certain skill sets in advance. You could be running an iron and steel manufacturing business. You could be running a restaurant. You could be running a flower shop business. This business would still fit in with what you're already doing and would add as an additional income generator for you during these tough times. And sanitization at this point in time is one of the hottest businesses. One of the red hot businesses today is sanitization and disinfection. So if you're willing to do even a little bit of heavy lifting, rest assured that this business can start generating profitability of 40 to 50,000 per month for you, which would be an added income in addition to what you're already doing. When I talk about entrepreneurship, and I think I would also borrow a lot from what I have heard a lot of people talking about, and Gaurav sir in particular, because I've attended a lot of your webinars. So I think everybody has been saying this, and I fully agree that we need to find an opportunity in the times of adversity. So while a lot of industries would obviously take a dent, a lot of industries would struggle to grow and would take a lot of time before they come back on their feet. But then there are certain industries that have traditionally not been the franchising favorites, which is like the cleaning industry or the ed tech industry or the medical and healthcare industry or the e-clinics, which are now all going to boom. Because this is the right time. This is the right time when people would want to focus a lot on keeping themselves clean, keeping their surroundings clean, ensuring social distancing, which would also mean that people would not want to send their kids to schools. They would want them to learn digitally. People would not want to go to a hospital because of the high density. So they would want a consultation which is virtual or they would want to go to an e-clinic instead of going to an actual clinic. So there are certain business segments which are now going to chart out their own growth. And I would say in some cases, the growth is going to be exponential. So this is absolutely the right time to get into entrepreneurship. The only thing that you need to do is figure out what are the kind of sectors that you would want to get into. And a lot of information is available on the internet, or you can even consult franchise consultants or independent business consultants. There's enough material out there which can guide you in the right direction, help you identify the right sector, and you can get into it. But it is also very important at the same time to ensure that you're passionate about it, because cleaning industry as an example is one industry which is not very glamorous. So if you want to get into the cleaning industry, you need to be sure that you're not getting it into for the glamour, which is what is in abundance when you talk about a salon industry or a restaurant industry. As long as you're able to put it aside, I would say cleaning industry alongside edtech or healthcare are the three best sectors to invest in and actually grow at this point in time.
Thank you, Arunabh. Sonia, over to you.
Thanks, Arnav. There's one question which I perhaps missed out. I want to know, and a lot of people out there, does it require any infrastructure? Because you talked about it does not need people who need to put in their full time. So it can be a part time unless the scale of the business is very big. Can they operate out of their homes? Because we didn't see any investment on the infrastructure that is required. So we can safely say this.
Yeah, this is a business from home model. All you need is a safe parking space at the end of the day, where the scooty or the bike can be carefully parked. The equipment are very small. The equipment and chemicals would hardly occupy 20 to 25 square meter of space in your home. So you can keep it in the side, and then the guy can pick it up the next day in the morning.
Great. Thank you so much, Arnav. I think this was very informative session for all of us, and we had the biggest rush that I've seen in many sessions that we do. And businesses today are being judged very real time in terms of how they're managing the challenge, how their behavior towards their consumer, and strategic choices which businesses today are making, and an informed response from companies like you help in building that trust and affinity. And at times of crisis and times where there are excessive choices in the market, people always revert to trust. And I feel it becomes more relevant when it comes from a company like yours, which has been in the business for the last about 3.5 odd years, has expanded, has experienced market, has experienced franchisees and business at large. So we wish you all the best, Arnav, in this new venture of yours. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arunabh. Always delight to have you on the panel, and Franchiseindia is extremely proud with partnership with you. Archana, over to you.
Thank you so much, Gaurav sir. So thank you so much, Arnav, for giving us this understanding. And as rightly said by you, this is a new way of life for all of us. And as you have said, this is the new business which our investor can take low cost opportunity. Best wishes. We hope we'll definitely close more deals for you. Thank you so much, Gaurav sir. As rightly said by Gaurav sir, opportunity of current time. Yes, it is. And we would love to answer each of our investor who wish to have call with us. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am, for giving us understanding and talking about why and how basic hygiene is a new lifestyle and why one should be taking care of those. But before we end, we would like to inform you that this is you can get a recorded version of this webinar on Facebook of Franchiseindia Brands Limited as well as Franwork. You can write to us, you can call us, and you can follow Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their respective LinkedIn IDs. Connect with them on our LinkedIn. That's the information given by Dheeraj on your screen. Tomorrow, we have again a great session by our respected panelists, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am, talking about 10 top opportunity. Do not miss, guys, do not miss this chance. Please join us tomorrow for 10 top brands where Gaurav sir, Sonia ma'am, and brand representative talking about those opportunities. So look forward to have you tomorrow again with us, where we'll try to give you maximum information about opportunities in current time. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, take good care of your health, and follow the sanitization process. Thank you so much. Take care.
If you want to hear any specific opportunity or any other industry or any other topic which you want us to cover in these daily webinars, which we are doing from 12 to 1, please write to us and we'll be happy to take those opportunities in the following webinars. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stay
Thank you.
safe.
Thank
Good
you.
day. Thank you.